We're going a little old school today. Instead of covering a newly released movie in 2023, I decided to let's throw it back to 1988 and talk about a movie that was just released to the Criterion Collection. This is the film The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is directed by Gillian of Monty Python fame. My name is Ben Friedman here from the Beneverse, and today I am talking The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And let's get on with it. Hello, thank you for watching this video. My name is Ben Friedman. I am contributing film critic for Highbrow Magazine, and I also have this channel, The Beneverse, where today on this channel I am talking about the film The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Now, this is a film that was just released to the Criterion Collection. Coming out this month for Criterion was the film The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, directed by Gillian. For those who do not know who Gillian is, you probably are familiar with his work. He is one of the founders of Monty Python. He's in all the films. In fact, he may be one of the guys up there. I don't know if you can see it. Those are all Monty Python and the Holy Grail action figures. He is one of the key figures of the Monty Python. When Monty Python kind of went their own ways, he decided to become a director. He's best known for the film Brazil, which came out a few years before The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. This is his follow-up to that film. And this stars a cast of John Neville as the Baron, Eric Idle, who is also a Monty Python member, Sarah Polley, who is the beloved director who just recently released the film Women Talking, which has been garnering a lot of Oscar talk. It also features performers such as Oliver Reed, Winston Dennis, Bill Patterson, Uma Thurman in a very young role, and supporting cast including Robin Williams. And The Adventures of Baron Munchausen is inspired by the extravagant exploits of the fabled Baron Munchausen. This spectacle, born of a famously turbulent production, follows the whimsical 18th century nobleman as he embarks on an outlandish quest that takes him from the faraway lands to the moon, to the belly of a sea monster and beyond, meanwhile waging battle against a vengeful sultan and the tyranny of logic. Packed frame to frame with special effects, mischievous wit, and colorful performances, including a young Sarah Polley as the Baron's no-nonsense sidekick, the Oscar-nominated The Adventures of Baron Munchausen is a lavish celebration of the triumph of make-believe over reality. I did not write that. That is directly from the back of the Criterion Blu-ray release. And I wanted to talk about this film because this was a film I had never heard about. I know Gillian's filmography as an actor within the Monty Python group. As a director, I'm a little hit or miss on him. In particular, Six Monkeys, which is probably considered one of his more mainstream films, is a film that has never really worked for me. I haven't checked out Brazil, but The Adventures of Baron was just a movie I had never heard of. So when I saw that this was going to be released on Criterion, when I looked into it, I'm like, you know what? This sounds like a film that could work for me. This sounds like a Gillian that I appreciate more than maybe some of his later 21st century work. So I decided to buy this movie. I got it the day it came out, and I watched it soon after. And I do have to say there is a lot that I like about this movie. This is a nonsensical movie in much regards. This very much feels Monty Python in moments. Some of the comedy is so outlandish and so ridiculous that it very much fits within the vein of what Monty Python is. In fact, there were certain jokes and characters that feel like direct spin-offs of Monty Python. So in that regard, being a huge fan of Monty Python, and specifically Monty Python and the Holy Grail, that comedy really works for me in this film. The art direction in this film is pretty spectacular. This film has a cheesy quality to it, but the spectacle of it is huge. If I had to compare it to any modern franchise, this very much does feel like Pirates of the Caribbean in its early heydays. In particular, John Neville feels like almost the early iteration of Jack Sparrow. And the adventure, the swashbuckling nature of it has similarities in tone to Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen is much crazier and much more out there. There are literally scenes where the Baron visits the moon, who is played by Robin Williams in an all-time kooky performance. There is a scene involving sea monsters eating them and them being in the bellies of sea monsters. There's a lot of these just really ridiculous, over-the-top circumstances. There's a character played by Eric Idle, who can just run and run for miles and miles at top speed. He's basically the Flash in this world. So this is very much based on the fables of the Baron instead of being an actual realistic approach to history. And in that regard, I really liked this film. I thought its tales, its fables, whatever you'd want to call it, those flourishes really worked wonders for me, existing alongside Terry Gilliam's art style and sense of comedy. That all really made for a world that felt outlandish, but yet still had me connected and grounded into the world that Terry Gilliam made. I think what Gillian does so well as a director is he is able to make these worlds that feel tangible despite how outlandish they are. When watching this film, I just understood that I was watching a film that was basically a fairy tale, but I believed in the world that was built within the fairy tale. That's what really worked for me in this film. So I think Terry Gilliam gets a lot of credit for achieving that effect within the film. Now, where the film does have its shortcomings is one, and this is probably a very typical thing that you'd expect me to say because I say this about a lot of films, I did think it goes on a little too long. There are some subplots that meander a bit too much. A lot of the film is following the Baron's crazy misadventures, and it doesn't always get back to the point of what this film is, which is this new journey. A lot of it is seeing his past, his origins, who he is, and in those scenes, the film drags on a bit. Yet where the film really excels is its performances. John Neville as the Baron is just an all-time great comedic force. He is so in tune with this character, and he seems to have such a trust in Terry to just direct him in a certain way. And he's nailing it. Sarah Polley, for such a young actress, is able to hold her own with Neville and the rest of the cast. She really grounds the film in its just your care for these characters. Whenever she's in danger, you feel the danger more because it's a kid and she's doing such a good job. She is basically our eyes through this film. We are seeing the Baron through her perspective, so she is the audience for us, and she does a really great job conveying all the emotions and really grounding the wackiness of the film. There are some supporting performances. I already highlighted Robin Williams, who I thought was just got to come in for about 10-15 minutes and just be an all-time kooky for him. Uma Thurman is in this film very briefly. She is absolutely stunningly beautiful in this film. She is playing the goddess of beauty in this film, and she's very beautiful. And that's what's so interesting about Terry Gilliam as a director. He knows how to use his actors in a very specific way and use what makes them kind of at their best. In the sense of Robin Williams, he kind of just lets the comedy flow. In Neville, he flourishes in the eccentricities. In Uma Thurman, he's able to just capture her beauty and grace with also this stoicism that is just so interesting and so magnetic to watch. He's such a good director of actors, and I think The Adventures of Baron Munchausen shows that very well. Along with that, it just gets to show the imagination of Terry Gilliam's mind. This film is just outlandish in so many of its ways. The set design is just spectacular. There's this incredible ship that flies in the movie that is just all-time classic, just set design, just such a beautifully interesting, such a weird concept for a film. And that's where the film largely works. It works because it embraces its weirdness. Baron Munchausen is not going to be a film for everybody, but if you appreciate this style of film, if you appreciate the Monty Python, I think this is probably going to be, for a lot of people, maybe Terry Gilliam's most accessible film. This is a film that you don't really have to know who Terry Gilliam is. You don't have to know some of the weird stuff that's in his mind, because boy, does he get weird in the 21st century. It is a film that what you love about him in Monty Python is displayed, but then some of the aspects that are well seen within Brazil, you get to see those true ideas and those true brains of Terry Gilliam in display at The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. So it's a very good entry film for Gilliam's career, and I would recommend it for that. I think there is a lot of fun to be had with it. Is the narrative exactly perfect? I would not go so far as to say that, but it is a fun watch. It is a good release by Criterion. The film does look beautiful, and a lot of the effects have really held up very well. There is a lot of fun to be had in it. If you're a fan or just interested in Terry Gilliam, I can recommend this film, and I would definitely say check this film out. With that all said, I am giving The Adventures of Baron Munchausen a 3 out of 4 stars review. I like this movie. I'll be revisiting this. And when I see more of Terry Gilliam's films, I'm sure I'm going to grow an appreciation of this. After seeing this one, I did order Brazil, which will be coming in soon, which I'm sure I will have a review on this channel for at some point. Anyway, all, thank you for checking out this video that I called the Criterion Collector. I wanted to do more of these types of videos. I wanted to review films that I just never got the chance to talk about, either on my podcast or in writing or on this YouTube channel. So I decided, let's use this YouTube channel and let's just explore filmography together. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. My name is Ben Friedman here from the Beniverse. Thank you all for watching. Take care and bye-bye.